from CII, Dr. Sitaram is also known to me, my colleague Devjani from NITI, friends in this room. So my friendship with CII goes a long time back. I was in the Lal Bahadur Shastri Academy, not typical for a bureaucrat, teaching younger officers. And in those days, CII used to run a TQ1 program, Total Quality Management. And at a then CB was not yet the head of CII. And we worked very closely on how to bring in quality into government and how can you use the principles of total quality management to improve government's own performance. So they had some excellent people and we tried to imbibe that in a couple of governments. So I'm happy to, see that CII continues to look at practical, implementable stuff which actually help industry. And I think this particular initiative which they have started in collaboration with NITI Aayog and the All India Council of Technical Education is a yeoman service to the sector as such. When I say sector, I'm talking of MSMEs, and Secretary MSME said MSME is not a sector, it's a terminology, okay, just a classification, which is true. But you see, I don't want to repeat about the criticality of MSMEs to the economy. You've seen the film, you've seen the speakers before me say that they are the biggest segment in terms of manufacturing, in terms of exports, in terms of GDP. So everybody pays lip service to MSMEs. I'm saying that very upfront. Everybody pays lip service to MSMEs. But actually, does anybody do much for MSMEs? It's a very difficult thing. Because MSMEs have very, very unique characteristics. First of all, the MSME itself is a misnomer. You have micro, you have small, and you have medium. There are very few commonalities between the three. The micro is probably a mom and pop store. The drone Didi will be a micro. And many other, 1 or 2 member units which are micro. And the other end is medium, which are actually nudging to become large enterprises. The future giants of Indian business are going to come out from the medium end, So I think it is not even one uniform classification. The classification has so much diversity in it. It's not easy to capture the diversity. The problems, the challenges, and the potential for each is big. And by the way, that is the biggest challenge for the Indian economy. If people ask me what are the 2 most important areas for India to become Vikasit Bharat, to become a $30 trillion economy, I only say there are 2 things. One is education and skills. I mean, you got this huge population, 140 crore people will stabilize around 160 crores. If you don't educate them, are they going to get into gainful employment? You want skilled workers, you don't want illiterate workers, right? So then, if you don't invest in people, you have a challenge. The second biggest thing, the biggest sector or the biggest segment of the economy is MSMEs, be it manufacturing, be it services. Without the growth of this, without investing in the growth of MSMEs, to think that you will become a developed economy is a mirage. So MSMEs are very, very critical. Not only from size of the economy, also for the 140 crore people who are there, because this is the biggest employment generator. I mean, that's absolutely clear. A large petroleum refinery which is set up, Indian Oil will set up something very, very big in Paradeep. How many people are they employing? They will not. They'll employ everybody in a control room. And they'll be looking at everything goes through pipes. MSMEs is where the economy hums, thrives, it grows. So I think that's very, very important that we focus on MSME. The second thing, India has had a huge success story in mobile phones. I'm just taking a random example. It's a fact. Some of the big manufacturers have moved to India, and India has become a major player now in mobile phones, and it's a success story of our PLI system. But what's the other side of the story? 95% of what goes into a mobile phone, the components, etc., the plastics, the lenses, everything gets imported. And so now what is the second goal we are working on? To get the ecosystem to India. NITI is working on a program to improve India's penetration of global value chains. To penetrate into global value chains, you need to have the ecosystem here, which means what are they called? They're called intermediate goods. They are not final products, they go into some other product. Bulk of global manufacturing is of intermediate products. And who makes these intermediate products? Largely MSMEs. Intermediate products are not made by large companies. They're made by smaller companies who then sell it to, you saw in the first presentation, they go to OEMs, the rubber manufacturing. Big companies buy your stuff. And this segment has huge challenges. First of all, if we say we need an ecosystem for electronics here, we need an ecosystem for automobiles here, ecosystem means MSMEs, nothing else. The other characteristic of MSMEs is they exist in clusters. MSMEs cannot exist in isolation. So I think they have to be tackled in clusters, in groups, because the cluster has common challenges, common problems, and they need to be resolved. The another aspect of MSMEs is they are most affected by regulation. A big company, as somebody said, can hire a big consultant or an accounting firm or somebody else to give solutions. MSMEs will get crushed by the weight of regulation. I think the Prime Minister has taken a major step in deregulation. I mean, there's a massive task force under the Cabinet Secretary, and work is going on to rapidly ensure deregulation of land issues, electricity issues, water issues. I mean, there's a whole host of stuff. We ourselves in NITI, while we were preparing the reports on auto components, electronic components, engaged heavily with MSMEs. What are the things that came out of it? What are the challenges which MHSE face? It's amazing. Nobody asked for subsidies. Nobody. If you ask them their priorities in terms of problems, first they asked, we have a problem improving our technology. They can't invest in R&D. They need technology, and technology will have to come from some academic setup or from R&D institution. Two, the second problem, skills. Large companies can train their employees. We can't invest in training to the same extent. For us, it becomes a cost. So we need skill. So lack of skilled workforce affects MSMEs disproportionately. A Foxconn with 40,000 employees will train their staff. An MSME with 10, 20, 50 people can't train their staff. This is the second. The third thing which they have is issues relating to quality certification standards, etc. Because they can't buy all stuff. You need quality certification systems, and all of you who are into manufacturing know how important certification is for sales. The world works on certification. I go to Tirupur and I go to some of their garment manufacturers. They're largely into knitted and wovens there. I think there are a bundle of 20, 30 labels each product needs to have if it has to be sold to a foreign customer. Eco label, child labor label, wildlife label, I don't know who all. But that ecosystem is there and it's essential. Without that, but you can't go miles and kilometers to get that label. You want that chap who gives that in your neighborhood. It becomes very... So you realize that MSMEs are hamstrung by very unique problems. And I think NITI is working in that direction. But what is the first step which I mentioned? It's technology. So technology here again is two parts. One is technology in the production process or the product itself, and the other is the technology in managing the production process. So you've seen today 4 fantastic examples. I mean, I was actually taking a photograph of the people who spoke today, their names and addresses. We will be reaching out to you because you've done a wonderful job in whatever you have done, be it Nagaland and be it in wherever. There were no addresses in the others, but I saw one was, I think, Noida. It's excellent work. It's a good demonstrator. And as Secretary MSME said, technology is going to be the decider of your fate and fortune. There are 2 types. You need to improve products. That you will have to get from your vendor. You're the vendor, whoever your buyer is. They will have to integrate you. The Japanese ecosystem is very good because almost all large Japanese companies have strong vendor development programs. They actually tell their supplier, go into these things. The second is you need to cut costs. We heard this story about, cutting costs from suppliers. It's essential. I mean, margins are thin, and how do you then manage to run a business and make profits? You need to leverage technology to manage your processes more efficiently. And you saw 3 out of the 4 examples were about how you leverage technology to reduce costs. In this context, where processes and adoption of technology is very, very important, I really compliment CII and the head of my Frontier Tech Hub, Devjani, for curating this initiative, and AICTE for collaborating. What is DXH doing? DXH is bringing multiple actors together. If there is an individual entrepreneur somewhere in the country, and that entrepreneur needs to use technology for improving their production processes or management, the local university or college will act as a mentor and upgrade or upskill them so that they can utilize technology for being a better business. I think that's a fantastic model. You saw the numbers. We have 6 crore MSMEs. There is no way government reaches 6 crores. There's no way even CII can reach 6 crores. The only way is every engineering college, every student in the country reaches out, and in the process you are actually tackling 2 problems. You're tackling the problem of the MSMEs. You're tackling the problem of the students. They're getting real life exposure and experience. Think of writing on their CV that they have worked with 3 companies to actually help resolve their problems. They become far more employable in the process. So with one stone, you're killing 2 birds. So I think it's a fantastic. And you look at the way it's being done. You do a diagnosis. You first create awareness, as you saw from the presentation by Devjani. There is awareness that we need technology, we need AI. People know, but the next question is, how do I do it? The why is known, how is not known. So second step is do a diagnosis. 3 is help them get solutions. And so I think that's a fabulous process. You're not only improving the technological base of the company, you're future-proofing them. You're making them ready for the future. India is going to be a major. Today morning I was reading the report of one of these big banks, global banks. We are already the 5th largest economy. End of next year, we will be the 4th largest economy. And somewhere in end of 27 or early 28, we will be the 3rd largest economy in the world. But we cannot be that if we don't raise the standards and manufacturing systems across the country. And I think DXH is a very fundamental critical initiative. But the only challenge is, even if you see the numbers, micro is about 99% of the 6 crores. But being a large country, even if it's 0.5% are small, 0.5% translates into about 5-6 lakhs. And then if you look at medium, that's not a small number, it's about 70,000. And for me, these 2 are even more important. The mediums today are going to be the large companies of tomorrow. The tomorrow's Marutis and the Tatas and the big companies will come out of the medium. And they will have to be not only technologically savvy, they have to be on the cutting edge. They have to be on the production frontier if they have to actually move up. And I think that's a very big challenge. And sometimes when I think about the Indian economy, I worry. We have a large number of large companies. The number of medium companies are smaller than the number of large companies. Then you see, where is the growth going to come from? It's an institutional structural problem. We do not have enough medium companies. If you have 100,000 or 1 lakh medium companies, you'll get 50,000 large companies 10 years down the road. If you don't have enough medium companies, how will you get the large company? So actually our country has a problem in converting micro to small, small to medium. And it's not only about laws and regulation. It is actually how do you handhold them to become big. And I think DXH is a first step in taking you all in that direction. How do you work? How do you translate this into practice? I was just telling the head of CII, Chandrajit, that every state CII has offices. Then as affiliates, they have industry associations everywhere. The beauty of MSMEs, they are all organized as local association. You will have a Coimbatore Association, a Tirupur Association, you will have a Rajkot Association, some Surat Textile, Surat Diamond, they're all there. Work through them, reach through them, and see that more and more. And on the other side, you have the local colleges. I mean, luckily there has been a boom in engineering education in India in the last 20 years. And this combination of the two, so you get the manpower. On average, India has about 2 million students doing engineering, if I'm not wrong, every year. 2 million, 20 lakhs. So that's enough to handle the size of the problem. Even if they do 3 projects each or 3 companies each, you're talking of 6 million MSMEs can be touched in year 1. Once it picks up, it becomes a habit. MSME will keep you reaching out. Sometimes when I do industry consultation in Chennai, and we were doing it for auto component, the number of times the auto component people were referring to, oh, we are working with IIT Madras to do this, we are working with IIT Madras to do this. It is amazing. The tech park of IIT Madras has actually become a role model of industry and academia collaboration. But it's a high level. This is at an MSME level. I think it's a fabulous concept. It will make a huge difference. And we've heard CII telling they will open 500 digital transformation centers. That's a huge number. And that will be the base which can actually transform Indian manufacturing. It's a fabulous example of industry, academia and government coming together to push. The Department of MSME has got its entire might behind this. The details of everybody is there. There's a portal there called Udyam. And I think everybody is actually registered on that. So reaching out, sending out flyers to 6 crore is not a difficult thing. And then we will have to start connecting. And a lot of these connections can be digital. I think it can be very, very successful. One last words, in the 90s there was another wave which swept the world. First time the PC came. IBM invented the PC. Now they're all dinosaurs. But then the IT revolution which went through the world. There's a beautiful book written by a professor, which is a sociology professor, Rosamund Moss Cantor. The title of the book is When Giants Learn to Dance. How large corporations cannot survive unless they learn to dance. The strength of MSMEs is you are very good at dancing. The reason why you are good at dancing is its survival. You can't survive unless you keep dancing in multiple pressures. And so, I think this DX Edge will be a fabulous tool to make you a better dancer. Wish you all the best. I wish this program a success. Thank you very much.
Roadmap that he has given the vision for, but also, I guess he's also challenged us. And and this can be a phenomenal, if I may say, unique academia, government, industry collaboration. We've been talking about collaboration with academia and industry for ages, bits and pieces, but this will really give us an outcome. So we will look forward to your continued mentorship and guidance and between the AICTE and NITI, Aayog and CII, involving all our other associations across the country sectorally. We will make this happen. And when you review it at some point in time, I hope we can get some marking in your marking system and appropriate marks out of this. If the Jani's got anything to add at the end, otherwise we'll conclude. Please, Jani, please have the last word. You are going to be a critical player.
With us, and we are going to succeed in this mission. Thank you, everyone.